What's up, everybody, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. And I've been off with these reviews lately, and it's not because the show has been bad per se. There's been a lot of good parts and a lot of bad parts. As we are coming into Bound for Glory, there's some things that don't make sense to me. One I can go off on is the Johnny Impact and Garza Jr. match to determine who is going to be the number one contender for Eli Drake at Bound for Glory. It's nothing against Garza Jr. and I think he's great, but he has no business being the main event spot. It just like they just shoehorned him in there just because. I don't know what happened to Laredo Kid. That's just pretty weird to me. I don't know this. That was a great tag team, and it's like, is there anyone else that could be near the main event for him and Eli Drake? Even though we saw the Victory Road probably about a few weeks ago, and it's a rematch now. But coming into the show tonight, with Moose and Stephen Bonner. By the way, that there's this whole storyline with this whole Bellator MMA. They stole all the belts, which it's kind of funny. Like Bobby Lashley goes in there and gets his ass. Not Bobby Lashley. Moose goes in there and pretty much gets his ass kicked by MMA guys, which I don't know why he went in there by himself. And then he comes back at nighttime with Stephen Bonner, which he's not even there. The Dan Lambert and them, and all they do is steal their shit. And I'm not saying it almost makes Moose look like a bitch in a way, because like, dude, you came back and now you didn't do nothing. Like, you just stole their stuff, but you didn't come back to beat them up though. We're a whole squad. But with the first match of the night, Chris Adonis and Johnny Impact, which I thought was a really good match, pretty much kicking off the show. It was really good. Mundo, or Johnny Impact, or Johnny Mundo, or whatever you want to call him, Jack. Whatever you want to call him, pretty much won with the that 450 judo roll when he says like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 impact, which was really good, or countdown to impact it's called. But Eli Drake came out. He tried to get Johnny Mundo right after, but Mundo ripped off his pants and started hitting him with his belt until Chris Adonis attacked him from behind. They pretty much jumped Johnny Mundo, as pretty much Eli Drake was his underwear at this point. Garza Jr. came out with a save for the chair, so it was a pretty good match. I'll give him that. But to get on to more of the show, as they hyped up Bound for Glory, Global, I guess, World Force Championship. But I still don't get this whole Moose thing. But here was one weird thing. They went to AAA. I believe it was in Cancun. This match was, but it was James Storm versus Tejano Jr., El Hijo de Fantasma, King Cuerno, Eddie Edwards, and EC3, as they were in a fatal 5-way, which allowed this match to make sense to me, even though they had different footage and they had commentary with JB and Vampiro was on the commentary table. They just did the commentary for the table with JB and Josh Matthews then, which this match was just strange to me in all general. First off, we know they don't like each other, but it's like, first all the TNA guys jump to AAA guys, but then it's almost like a 3-on-2 match. But then it's kind of weird because then they start forming different formations with each other. And the weirdest thing that to me was that Storm and Tejano Jr. was about to beat up Phantasma Sr. for some reason, and it's like everybody kept betraying each other. I don't know what the point of this match was. And then they went to backstage, then said they need to still have a plan to come at the AAA guys. So I really don't know what's going on with that, since they have footage from there. They went to Tijuana, Mexico then, and Conan's promotion, The Crash, as the Chris Brothers. You were looking for Conan and stuff, since they had a match tonight over there in Tijuana. Another strange thing, Andrew Everett, who is some reason in this faction now with Trevor Lee and Caleb Conley, which I don't know what Trevor Lee's supposed to be, some cult leader to go against Desmond Xavier. Yes, he still exists on TV, folks, which actually wasn't a bad match. And it wasn't a bad match or anything, but I didn't get Xavier's finish. It was like a backflip, what they call the Gordo Mars attack on him, but it's still pretty cool though. But I don't get the brainwashing effect, because I don't know why Andrew Everett was even heel. This may lead to Trevor Lee versus Xavier at Bound for Glory, which would not be a bad match. It'd be probably a great match, really. Another thing I want to address is, I know Friday Impact said that Well, first off, we all know Terrence Terrell was slapped down by Gail Kim the week before. But now they say it's now a triple threat match at Bound for Glory. First it was a fatal four-way with Gail Kim, Sienna, Allie, and Terrence Terrell. But now they said Terrence Terrell left Impact now, and they mutually agreed to part ways. Now, some people feel like this is a work. I don't know. Because the reason why she left them to begin with, because of, I believe it was her religion, to what I read. And I believe she said she didn't want to be hypersexualized, over-sexualized. But yeah, she came back to the company, and like she was kind of more super extra sexualized or over sexualized. Cause like, come on, the tutus and the lingerie outfits, like I don't know. So it's like, and here's another thing, like, why would you back out before the biggest pay-per-view in that company's history? Like, that kind of just makes them look bad now. And I know their reason is, oh, she's too concussed now because of a slap by Gail Kim, which just does sound very silly. And it's like, she could have waited at least till after the pay-per-view, and because now it's just a triple threat match, because that doesn't make sense to me. Like, we know Bound for Glory isn't that far away, so why would you back out at the last minute? Like, that's strange to me. That's very strange. And now she just usually part ways. I don't know what kind of contract she signed. I don't know what was going on with that, but that just kind of just, I don't know. They got to get control over that. Like, you know, you have a match, that's big match that's about to come on, your biggest pay-per-view of the year, and somebody just backs out the last minute. It's just strange. And OVE, I didn't get into those guys as they kept looking for Conan, and they had to be in a match then, which they look like dorks, I feel like, because Conan makes them look like some idiots most of the time. And it was one good segment I like before we get back into that. Grado came out as he talked about this whole meal ticket thing and got tired of Joseph Park using him, and he called pretty much Park a fucking thief, I believe, but they bleeped that out. And he's got the evidence and everything. He said, you stole from me, you taken advantage of me, embarrassed me in front of my family, you treated me like a dog. But as Joseph Park looked at him, he said, like jokes, so I can tell you about my family words, and pretty much Grado said Park is full of shit. And in the crowd of public opinion, people said guilty, guilty, guilty. And you gave in to temptation, as Park said, the money, the cars, the girls. And but you have to but Park gotta tell him, I still have your visa that's keeping you here. He said, son, I want to say he's a man, but you're not getting your visa. But Park says he has a better idea. He has a contract for Bound for Glory, and he says, if you win, you can stay here, but if you lose, you're gone forever from Impact. Grado pretty much says, I'll sign the contract, and he says he's going to kick Joseph Park's ass at Bound for Glory and live the American dream, even though his pay-per-view was in Canada, by the way, also. But Joseph Park laughed at him and said, you don't read the fine print, don't you? And this isn't going to be a regular wrestling match. You're going to be in a hardcore match, as the boys call it, but a monster's ball. And you're not going to be facing me. He pretty much took off his glasses, and he says, you're going to be facing Abyss. And he pretty much turned back to Abyss. So it's going to be Abyss versus Grado and a monster's ball match at Bound for Glory, which is actually a good segment, and they really great in the mic right here. So this is actually had some good build, because if you look at some of these other matches for Bound for Glory, some think a lot of these matches are kind of rematches. Really, a lot of them do kind of feel like rematches than just regular matches. This is the one with actual build up to it. So I guess Park is the heel, really. So they really did a good job with this segment. Even Grado coming back into his car as he changed the music on his radio. They hit the 666. Next thing you know, the return of the Sinister Minister himself, James Mitchell, was back again. We haven't seen him since Slammiversary, and he pretty much told Grado, you need to be careful, or pretty much it's going to be doomsday for you as Abyss destroys us. So I'm glad they're bringing James Mitchell back. That's still kind of cool to see. So Grado pretty much ran from his car then. The OVE guys, which I don't know why they even tried to do a chant in Mexico and in Tijuana, which they know come on, they try to get people in the Impact Zone to chant it, but it doesn't work. But at least it was actually a full match. It was actually a pretty good match too. It really was. But then we get to, some say, probably the worst segment of the night. JB comes out. He's gonna make an announcement for Bound for Glory, but then Dan Lambert and these nameless MMA guys, most of them, as he talked about him, saying he's been a wrestling fan for 40 years and it's been introducing him to MMA, and here's the bad guy of pro wrestling. It's the crowd told him to shut the hell up, pretty much, and no one cares. He talked about all these championships he had, about having Bruno Sammartino's original world championship, the original one, I believe, Road Warrior Hawk had, the Mid-Atlantic belt Ric Flair had that he owns now also, and he talked about all these titles he had, and talked about Jeff Jarrett and up to his father and everything, Jerry and pro wrestling. Coming home, you want to disrespect my family, but now I'm here to, you poke the bear and stuff. And and pretty much told King Mo and Bobby Lashley, it's the Impact Zone, and we're gonna respect, but now we're gonna destroy pro wrestling, pretty much. And he challenged Moose and Stephen Bonner to a fight, not a wrestling match, not a sports entertainment thing, but he said it's gonna be the end of Impact, he says. And as Moose and Stephen Bonner came out with the titles they stole, Bobby Lashley jumped in from behind. Then all these MMA guys just beat up Moose and Stephen Bonner, and Lashley speared him, and security couldn't do nothing, the refs couldn't do nothing. Some reason they send out Shira, Andrew Everett, and Caleb Conley, like the only people that helped TNA out, pretty much get beat up by these random guys, and then they did a little pose. But listen, I know everyone hates this, and I don't really like this whole MMA storyline either. First off, Moose looks like a fucking bitch throughout this whole thing, getting beat up every week and not getting any type of payback. Stephen Bonner, I almost kind of feel bad for him, just that he's part of this. Lashley shouldn't be in this whole thing. Lashley should be talking on the mic, not getting a damn near 10-20 minute promo from Dan Lambert. But in his defense, it was a solid promo though, and he did get the fans to really hate him as a heel. Okay, it really was. But I felt like this was a waste of time. I don't know why they need this as a match at Bound for Glory. And now he just thinks he knows everything about wrestling. I got all this memorabilia and stuff. Or he's using MMA just to get closer to it. And some people think the company is using him just for money and everything. And you got all these MMA guys, this whole American Top Team been invading TNA for weeks now. Why is the rest of the TNA roster, or whatever Impact roster, come out and jump these guys and help TNA, instead of just sending random cruiserweights out there X Division guys to come out and help? Because Andrew Everett and Caleb Conley was just, they're the only ones that really came out, and I believe Sheer was out there too. Somebody told me back to rewind it. But this segment is just bad. It almost makes you, I think somebody was right, it makes you not even want to buy the pay-per-view in a way. And I fucking love Bobby Lashley, okay? Bobby Lashley's the fucking man. But he, like I said before, he is just not doing good in this whole story thing, alright? Like, I'd rather see Bobby Lashley going for the World Heavyweight Championship. He is great on the microphone. Dan Lambert thing is just horrible. Like I said, in his defense, it was a solid promo, and he did get the crowd to hate him as a heel. Some people may like this, I don't know. But this is just getting weird, especially when Moose went in there and tried to do something and he got beat up. And here's another thing also with OVE, as Conan was pretty much in the back training with some entrance girls and stuff, and they talked about, yeah, you couldn't touch the belt and everything, and we did your match, now you have to pay us. And Conan said, I never said I'm not going to pay you, alright? And he said, when I said I'm going to be touching it all night long, pretty much the titles, it's going to be after Bound for Glory, he says. And since I'm pissed, he told everybody to come in and jump them. OVE said Row House, they tried to fight some of the smaller guys, but most everybody in the Conan's promotion beat the living shit out of them, and pretty much said they called OVE some hoes. You keep the belt warm for LAX. It's almost like the Moose thing. Why would you go in there and try to start shit with somebody in someone else's territory and then get the shit kicked out of you? And by the way, OVE is not really that great anyways, because LAX are more the faces when people look at it, because I think people look at OVE is really lame, and LAX is just a very cool faction. Especially if we're doing this whole 5150 street fight thing, where it's all of LAX, pretty much Santana, Ortiz, Diamante, Homicide, and Conan, versus these two, OVE. So I hope LAX does get the titles back because I want them. I still think it sucks that Low Key is not part of that group anymore because I still like the little Agent 47 thing being part of LAX. Even though they showed a few segments of him talking about the 5150 street fight. In the main event, it was Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary, which was actually a really good match. And I know some people are going to say they gave it away and somewhat, underwhelming. I enjoyed the match, especially Taya kicking the crap out of Rosemary, and Rosemary just rising back up with like her Matrix like Undertaker sit up thing, and Taya did pretty much get a win after hitting with a Northern Lights, then a double stomp to pick up the win in, and as she probably hit the rope to Valhalla, Rosemary hit her with Mist, and you may have won this match, but you have not won the war. And on behalf of the Hive at Bound for Glory, everything's going to see is red. It's going to be Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, as she promised blood. So we will have a match with these two at Bound for Glory again. And it is still a lot of rematches when you look at it again, but I do believe these two can put on a great match. And this match was actually bad. Especially people want to see with these two, because they made a very simple way to build up this match, from Taya beating her up, hitting her with the Mist, but that was actually unexpected. They hit the road to Valhalla, but I think these two will have a great match about for Glory. If Bloody Mary, as people said, it means a first blood match. So I would look really forward to the match. Overall, the show itself, I don't know. It just a lot of it was somewhat bad, and some stuff didn't make sense. There's only probably a couple good parts in here. But I thought that move thing was still cool as Rosemary kind of set up. So there was a couple cool things from this. All right, it really was. And like I said, it looked like a lot of rematches for this pay-per-view. It really is. Hopefully they can have some better matches at the show. Now, I'm not saying the matches were bad at the pay-per-view, but it does like a lot of rematches to it. So it's pretty trying to remember something right here. I'm trying to think this out. But yeah, it's a lot of rematches regarding the Bound for Glory on November the 5th, I believe. I know they even said Alberto El Patron, I guess, is coming back. I don't know what to say about Alberto. I don't think you can trust the guy. And I've said it before, it was a horrible move to put the belt on that man at Summerversary. I really was glad they stripped him of the title, because this guy is just kind of a fuck up, really. I don't know, and it's not like Alberto's a bad wrestler, but due to a lot of his personal stuff getting out there in the public, and his relationship with Paige, and the whole thing we have at the airport, I just had to sit there wondering, why the fuck did y'all put the belt on this man? And I know they were looking for a clean start too, but this man was a horrible idea, and he shouldn't have had the title to begin with, or even beating Bobby Lashley on a pay-per-view in just fucking general. Alright, Alberto, I don't really know when they bring them back, or where they go with that. I don't know, but I don't even think if he returns to Battle for Glory, I think he will get more boos than he gets cheers. So like, that's my review of Impact. Really, the camera just always messes up when I'm sitting and talking, but so like, it automatically cleared on its own. But still, pretty much a great show. Tomorrow night we will be here for TLC, for reviews and live reactions, which we know a lot has been changed in the past under 24 hours of this show, which I may make a video before the pay-per-view tomorrow anyways, regarding to the whole AJ Styles and Kurt Angle making his in-ring return to WWE, which is just still out of the freaking blue without any build, since we all know about the viral meningitis that's been going on with Wyatt and his brother JoJo and Roman Reigns, which is pretty much it's no more Shield, it's mini Shield and Kurt Angle at TLC. And AJ versus Finn, yes, that has the potential to be a match of the year candidate if they give them the time and the right thing. Even though it's no build, it's a SmackDown guy. Yeah, I'll explain more of this in the video. There's a lot of positives to it about both of these matches, not being a two-match show, being great. But then when you think about it, there are some negatives in it, and you wonder why they were picked for this as a backup contingency plan. So that's my thoughts on it. But I'm going to go. I am out of here. Peace. I hope you enjoyed this review. Comment, subscribe. Make sure you check out my video of me explaining my trip to Pro Wrestling Tees last Monday, about me and the Bullet Club themselves. I still want to post a little bit more stuff. I think I have a video of it. It's not the best video, but it's something, and I really did enjoy it. But I'm out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace out.